What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this 2022 BMW M8 Competition Gran Coupe. Big shout out and thank you to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing one of their pre-owned inventory cars for today's video. Definitely check out the link to their website, link down below. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in Marina Bay Blue Metallic and has an MSRP at $142,000. Underneath the hood of this BMW M8, you're going to find a 4.4 liter twin turbocharged 8-cylinder engine. This V8 pumps out 617 horsepower with 553 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, sending all the power to the xDrive all-wheel drive system. 0 to 60 is 2.7 seconds with a top speed at 190 miles per hour. The M8 has a curb weight of 4,400 pounds and runs on a 20.1 gallon fuel tank, so you're looking at 15 miles per gallon in the city with 21 out on the highway. Overall length is 200.9 inches with wheelbase at 119.2, width is 76.5, and height is 55.9 inches. The M8 also gets massive 6-piston brake calipers up front with drilled and ventilated rotors in all 4 corners, and you can also see floating calipers in back. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with the M8 Competition Gran Coupe. This is a very sporty looking, luxurious, performance-oriented car. You can see a BMW's laser headlights that have the DRLs down below, nicely sunken into the bodywork. You have really sharp body lines on the farthest sides of the front bumper, along with one of the parking sensors and quite a lot of mesh. You can see how the bodywork protrudes forward to give you a really aggressive front splitter, and you also get a safety sensor mounted down below. There's more mesh to allow maximum cooling to the 8-cylinder, and then we get a really nice dark chrome color surrounding these kidney-shaped grills. You can see gloss black within them, as well as M8, and then you get a forward-facing camera and of course your BMW logo. Really nice sharp lines all throughout the front bumper, and I think it comes together very well to give this an elegant yet performance looking vibe. You can see just how long the hood is, and you get really sharp body lines fading all the way towards the windshield. And this blue color really pops out in the sunlight. Moving to the side profile, we get a set of 20-inch wheels finished off in a gloss black, and I love how the blue on the brake caliper kind of matches the paintwork. Sharp line running around the fender, then you can see your M8 logo with a nice trim piece. There's a really sharp body line in the lower portion of these doors, and you can see just how curved a lot of the lines are on the side profile. We also get gloss black along the mirrors with an integrated turn signal as well as a side view camera, and then all gloss black trim running around these windows. We get body colored door handles, and then a beautiful carbon fiber glossy roof. Super sharp lines on it as well. Really nice design touch. And then moving to the side profile, this is a Gran Coupe, so it kind of has that coupe vibe you're going to see on a normal M8. The rear end kind of slopes downwards into the trunk, and you can see just how proportional this is. I also really love the sharp body lines in the rear fenders. It protrudes outward to give it an extremely wide appearance. We get a gloss black trunk mounted spoiler in back, has a nice subtle design, and then your BMW logo along with M8 Competition. And I really like the LED taillights. They protrude outwards a little bit to give it a wider appearance, and this is a very sharp rear bumper. You can see the reflectors on the farthest sides, parking sensors all throughout, and then a massive gloss black rear diffuser. We get the dual tips on each side finished off in more gloss black, some sharp fins right in the center, and the rear end comes together nicely. So there's a good look at the exterior with the M8 Competition Gran Coupe. This is a really good looking car. The blue especially looks amazing. We have BMW's key fob, which is pretty basic across the board, but with the car lock, all I have to do is grab the door handle. It'll automatically unlock, and we can check out this super awesome interior. This particular spec gets the M carbon bucket seats and the Silverstone Gray full merino leather interior. Absolutely a stunning interior. Taking a look at the door panel now, you can see the smooth black leather along with all this aluminum colored accent for memory seating as well as lock and unlock. We even get the release handle, and then you can see this really nice smooth leather running down to your armrest, and I love just that diamond pattern with all these stitching. You have window controls and mirror controls, then you even get a little bit of storage down below with the trunk release, and then more smooth black leather running on the bottom side. We get M8 Competition on the door sill. Then you still get power controls on these bucket seats. Moving to the bucket seats, you can see how all this carbon fiber looks. I just love the design. Absolutely one of the coolest factory bucket seats. More carbon fiber in them, massive bolsters, they're like 6 inches high. Then you can see how the backs are all set up. I love how you get all that same material, the same stitching and everything with perforated leather running to the entire headrest. And it's super cool to see how the seat actually has cutouts in them. These are absolutely amazing bucket seats. Up top to the headrest. And then if we go around to the steering wheel now, finished in black leather with the M color stitching. And then now inside the M8 Competition, keep my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, this is a full LCD display with your speedometer on the left with your fuel, and then your tach over on the right with engine temperature. There is a screen on the right side that you can configure, tapping to where it says BC on this left stalk, and then just tapping through that, you can see a few different vitals that will pop up and kind of see what's going on with your car. It's a nice little touch to have within the M8 Competition. You can see your drive modes, and then I love how if you tap the M mode button down here, it gives you a really cool looking tachometer. You can see how you have the vertical design, tapping it again. And then taking a look at the steering wheel now, we get your BMW logo with some stitching in leather. Heated controls right here. All of your cruise control settings are over on the left side, and then you get some Bluetooth and audio controls on the right. This M1 and M2 are actually configurable drive modes. When you tap one of the buttons, it'll go into a customized setup. So I love how you can configure everything and just go in and out of different drive modes. And we also get a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. You can also see the turn signal stalk on the left, and then all of your windshield wipers over on the right. And then we get different controls on the left side for your headlights, as well as one of the air vents. You do get a heads-up display system that will come up, and when you tap the M mode, it even gives you a very cool looking tach. And then you can see more of the smooth black leather running across the entire dashboard with contrast stitching. And now moving to the infotainment. Pretty basic as you would expect on all BMWs. They pretty much look the same for this setting. You can see the menu icon, your media, communication. Everything will come up with all sorts of different information. Navigation screen, pretty nice snappy design. Then you can go under car and see your driving information. You can see your sport displays, which is really cool for performance driving. Then you also have a few more things like vehicle status. You can monitor a few different things. And then you have a few more items. You also have apps you can click on, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and more things like that. Then if I go ahead and put this into reverse, your backup camera pops up, and you also get the top down over on the right. You have a really good view around, and I love how it even uses the same color that your car is finished in. 360 camera view as well. You can easily monitor everything going on within the car. Then I can just go back into the neutral position and tap the P button for park. Underneath the screen, we have another LCD screen for all of your climate controls. You can see the dual fan speed as well as dual temperature, which is a really nice feature. You have a few more controls on the left and the right side. And then this one right here is for all of your safety settings. They'll come up, you can configure your individual and see a few different items. Beneath that, we have some more gloss black, more stitching in silver, and then really nice gloss carbon fiber all throughout the center. We get the M8 Competition badge. Then we have 2 cup holders down here with wireless phone charging, as well as a USB port and a 12 volt. You can see some shortcuts to traction control, your cameras and parking sensors. And then we have different drive mode buttons. Your exhaust valve, you can open and close that, your setup. And then I like on the right side, we have all these different shortcuts and a rotary dial for the screen. So you can adjust everything by just bumping it over, rotating the dial. You can also hit one of the shortcuts for map and just quickly get right into there, go back. So that's a great feature to see. In the center, we have more of this light colored leather. Pressing the button, it'll open up. And we have a pretty good amount of storage space all inside. And I like how you can independently close it. We have our glove box on the far right side with a decent amount of space. And then one last look at the interior. This is a beautiful interior, amazing place to be. And I especially love having these performance bucket seats that you're used to seeing in an M3 or the M4 in BMW's flagship. Absolutely stunning. We also get black alcantara for the entire headliner. It's finished very nicely. And then we get all of your LED controls for the dome lights and a frameless mirror. And then moving to the rear seat space, if I grab the door handle and open it up, these are all frameless doors, which looks really nice. You get the same stitching design, all the two-tone colors. and everything is the same for these back seats. This is a 3-person capacity bench. You can also pull this down. You get a nice armrest here. You can press this and open it up for a little bit of storage, and then we even get 2 cup holders up in front. We can even grab the other handle and pull the entire thing down, and we have a nice entry point into the trunk area. And then I also love how we get controls in the center, finished with more carbon fiber, all of your air vents, USBs, and then all of your climate control settings. And then the backs of these seats, fully exposed carbon fiber. So beautiful and such an awesome interior. So then now sitting in the back of the M8 Competition, the Gran Coupe, this is a pretty decent family type of sedan. Obviously it's not quite a sedan like a 7 Series or the 5 Series, but even with that sloping rear end, it's comfortable. I'm 5'11". I have about 1 inch of headroom. Driver's seat, I honestly have a ton of knee room and leg room. Really not a bad place to be. Good size armrest and huge windows. Now the middle passenger definitely gets the raw end of the deal, having this massive console in between their legs, kind of an awkward place to sit, but nonetheless in a pinch, that 5th person could be doable in this car. But you know, you get your dome lights up top, grab handles, and for being how performance oriented this is, it's a pretty practical option. And then onto the trunk area, you can tap the button on the key fob, the one on the rear, or of course that one on the interior. The trunk lid will open up, and we have a pretty good sized trunk in here. It's a pretty low floor, so you can really fit a lot of items. We have some safety things on the left side, a little cubby over on the right, and then there's a handle you can grab on the bottom side here to lower these seats. They lower nicely to really amplify how much storage space you're gonna get in the M8 Gran Coupe. They fold almost flat, and the opening into the trunk is pretty large. You can see it's also finished off with more of the alcantara, and you still get a ton of storage space up in front. All right, so setting off now in the M8. That twin turbo V8 is insanely powerful. This is one fast car. It honestly is mind-blowing with just how quickly a big car like this can get up to some speeds. Transmission is so responsive and it feels so tight. It is just pure muscle. This is absolutely unreal just how fast a car like this can be. It's insane. Oh my gosh. And I gotta say, having these bucket seats in here is amazing. I mean, these are what you see in the M4, the M3. A car like this, the luxury focused, top tier car, to have seats like this is just so cool. This car, oh, there's just nothing like it. And the fact that all of it comes together so well with the drivetrain, the power, I mean, what can you not love about a car like this? It is light on its toes, so responsive. Gosh, it's a handful at times too, because it's a bigger car. You're not expecting it to be this fast and this capable, and yet it has all of the same response and precision that a lighter weight, maybe like an M4 is gonna have. It is just so cool. I'm sure really high speed, tight turns might be a little bit of a handful on this, but just country roads, stuff like that, you can genuinely have an absolute blast in this. I do love the seats. I love the bucket seats. I find them very comfortable, quite honestly. Oh, it sounds so good. Every time you let off, you hear like a thud in the back. It's just so performance focused sounding. And then the cool thing is, of course, being, you know, kind of a luxury car, if we go to the M button again, we'll tone ourselves out of that. Let's get out of that, back into normal, and we're now into drive. And the car does tone down quite a lot. Turn the exhaust valve off. It gets nice and quiet and comfortable. It is still a pretty stiff car. You know, if you're buying this because you just want a luxury car, the M850 might be a better choice, because this true M car is still pretty harsh, especially with these seats. I mean, I can still feel all the bumps in the road. I mean, it doesn't feel crazy, soft, and luxurious at all. So it could be a little too edgy for certain buyers. It's still really, really rigid the way this car is built, just the way the suspension is for the M car. But as far as normal driving, I mean, you have a really good view out, you have a huge windshield, a very long hood, so it is maybe a little bit more challenging to place this car around. You know, you might have to lean forward a little bit sometimes. It's a larger car. Mirrors all do a great job, and even visibility is actually fantastic. Even with the sloping rear end, those rear windows are just so large, it makes it no big deal. And I love one press of a button, pop ourselves back into the fun modes, get the cool one all set up now. gosh, it is just pure muscle. This is the ultimate family sedan for sure. And the transmission is so quick, it's just mind-blowing how you tap the paddle, you're already in the gear. And the power just never gives up. It just keeps pulling and pulling till you break some crazy speed limits that you probably shouldn't be doing. But this thing is just a blast. All right, so switching over to my perspective, what it's like driving this car. Oh, it is so fast. Like, this is true high-end performance acceleration in a car that 5 people can actually be comfortable. 4 people can be comfortable, though. 1 in the back, in the middle, not so much. But man, you just get nothing but power. This is awesome. I don't know if I've driven the M8. I think I've only done the M850i. So being in this one, I've driven the 2-door, but not the 4-door. The Gran Coupe is just so cool because you have that practicality. You almost forget that you're not in an M3 or something. You feel like you're in a high-end performance car, and then you look back and realize you're in a huge car. This does have a pretty big footprint. Could take some getting used to, but it is just an absolute blast. I didn't even know these seats were available in the Gran Coupe here, but it is just such a good combination. They're so cool to sit in. Oh, every time you accelerate, the whole hood is just like up in the air. This thing just squats so much, and that's not even, you know, full throttle redlining it. Oh my gosh. Being a used car, obviously it's got some miles, so we can get on a little bit, but this is a car just, I don't know. Not many words to compare or even talk about this. This is just one of those awesome cars, honestly. Only downfalls I would say is, I don't know, I don't really think there's downfalls with it. I would just say it's not for everybody. You know, not everybody wants this much performance, this much raw, like, rigidity and stuff in what, at the end of the day, is a luxury sedan. You know, not everyone wants that hardcore, but that's why obviously BMW makes a ton of different versions. The interior, a little simple, obviously. We've kind of seen BMW's interiors for quite some time now, many years. Hasn't really changed much. I personally like it. I like how BMW keeps it simple, it's easy to use, it's not distracting. These really are driver's cars. I've noticed that if you look at BMW, Audi, Mercedes, BMW is the most performance-focused one, where everything is about driving, having fun, not being distracted. Mercedes is way on the luxury side, and Audi is kind of that sweet spot in the middle. But if you want the performance, this is the way to go. This or the Audi RS7, this is definitely more performance-focused. I recently drove a 800 horsepower RS7, and it's really nice. I mean, super refined, super luxurious. This is more hardcore, and I drove the RS7. I was expecting it to be a little bit harder core. You can tell this has what I thought the RS7 was missing. It can be a little backbreaking, like I mentioned, not in a bad way necessarily, but when you're driving this car, you know you're in a real M car. It's not just an M sport car like the M850. M850 is kind of going to give you that better blend of refinements, but still give you the power. But the true M8 Competition, this one gives you everything. It really does. This is a benchmark car for this style, I think, for sure. And I think Audi honestly needs to make a more hardcore version of the RS7. Even the one I drove, which was tuned with 800 horsepower, not as rigid and rock solid as this. So BMW, they did something special with this car for sure. This spec, the lighter interior with the bucket seats, the carbon fiber, the blue paint, I mean, this is just awesome. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did driving this. This is one of the coolest cars I'd say that I've driven. One of the best four-door cars, hands down. Oh, I wish I could really open it up. But anyways, big shout out and thank you to Lexus Northlake. Thank you for them for letting me check out this car. This is a pre-owned car, so definitely take a look at their website linked below. Also for brand new Lexus vehicles. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.